What's up, guys? Pep Man Matt Morrow, Kell on the Varsity here. We're looking at our Week 2 previews. First off, we're going to start with Ardrey Kell going on the road to take on the Myers Park Mustangs. Key to victory for Ardrey Kell. Obviously, Myers Park had a big win last week over Olympic, and their offense was clicking very well. We had May throwing the ball to Bogue and Muhammad and those guys, and you had a couple running backs step up as well. So obviously, Ardrey Kell defensively is going to have to improve on their performance last week against Weddington for them to pull off a win in Week 2. For Myers Park, they did score 35. I think the offensive line is going to have to continue to play well once again. Olympic had some success on the defensive line in that game and kind of disrupted the offense at times. So you want to see that consistency coming in for that Myers Park offensive line as they move forward here. All right, our next matchup, we got East Meck going on the road to take on Ashbrook. We're going to look at East Meck here. They're more of our focus here. Obviously for East Meck, last week it had a little bit of a struggle on the road at Providence. They did put up a few points, and of course their receiver Prestige Edwards has been a bright spot, making several big plays down the field, not only in that game but in the preseason as well. You're taking on an Ashbrook team in Gastonia, and a few years ago Ashbrook was really tough. They kind of come across some tougher times. But they always have talent. So, this is the game East Meck can come into and feel like they have a good shot at winning. And we hope they do that down there across the river. All right, in our next matchup, we have the Garinger Wildcats going on the road to take on the Harding Rams. Garinger lost a tough one last week, 26-7 or 27-6, something along those lines, against West Charlotte. Their key to victory, obviously, they're going to get that offense going a little bit. Only 6 points. It makes it hard to win ball games when you got that. Hopefully they'll try to make some big plays in this one. Harding, a lot of fanfare and hoopla coming into the season. Lost a tough one last week at Hough. The limelight, so to speak, has gone away, of course, after something like that happens. So now you just go back and you make your adjustments and you just go back to playing, good, solid football. And that's what you want to see for 4 quarters. Good fundamental football. Everybody doing their job to 110%, understanding the schemes, and executing and not shooting yourselves in the foot. So good luck to both of those teams this week. All right, in the game that me and Brandon will be attending, Hopewell will be on the road at Independence. And, of course, the situation with Divine Simpson, Flash number 9, the quarterback, may he rest in peace, will be there not only to cover the game, but, in our small and probably insignificant way, try to offer some type of comfort for everyone suffering with the Independence Patriot program. And like I've said before, there's some really good guys on that staff, Mike Natoli and Coach Brad Van Horn. And, once again, our condolences go out to everyone involved. As we look at the game on the field, Hopewell lost a tough one at A.L. Brown last week. And, they did have some bright spots throwing the ball. They did put up some passing yardage. And, you want to build on that if you're the Titans. And for Independence, this is actually their first game. They had a bye in week 1. So, you got the week 1 kind of stuff that we saw last week. You want to try to eliminate the penalties, the mistakes, and things of that nature. And just go out and play a clean football game. All right, our next one is the big game this week. We got Mallard Creek going on the road to take on Butler at the Matthews Sportsplex. So if you're hearing this, it's not at Butler. It's down the street, Matthews Sportsplex. The Sportsplex holds 4,000 people. They're anticipating a big crowd as always for this one, and Butler Stadium only holds 2,000. That's why it's moved. All right, so Mallard Creek didn't play last week. We all know the story behind that. So they're going to be really raring to go come week. This is actually week 1 for them. Their key for victory, obviously, you saw Butler and what they did. They've got to contain the Butler athletes in space. I thought Coach Hales did an excellent job in getting those guys into space and scheming ways for them. And the Mallard Creek defense is going to have to communicate and make sure they don't get anything behind them and then tackle well when they're in front of them. For Butler, their key to victory, I think, is it's going to be the lines of scrimmage. Anytime you talk about Mallard Creek, it's always about the lines of scrimmage. If you can neutralize the lines of scrimmage and don't let Mallard Creek win those battles, then you have a shot at beating them. Um, in the past, Mallard Creek has had trouble with mobile quarterbacks. Christian Peters, I think, is going to be a huge X factor. He played really well last week. He's got the dual threat ability, and I think this is going to be a heck of a ball game. We'll have Ken Bumgarner there from Carolina Varsity, and we may have Dale Ross there. So you might get some double coverage on a big game that deserves it. All right, our next matchup will be the Olympic Trojans going on the road to take on the North Mecklenburg Vikings. Olympic, we mentioned them earlier. They had a tough loss in Myers Park last week, but they did have a standout defensive end. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but I did see the stats from Coach Jason Fowler, and they were very impressive. I believe he had 3 sacks and several tackles for loss, and that was a really, really great game there. Their key for victory, they're playing North Meck. North Meck's coming off a victory against Durham Jordan. This is their home opener, so you've got to be able to match the intensity and the focus. They're going to want to come out and put on a show. You're coming off a tough loss, and they're going to feel like they can come out and dominate you. You want to, hit them in the mouth when you come out and let them know it's going to be a battle for 4 quarters. Conversely, for North Meck, coming off a good win, I know Coach Mormon will have these guys ready. They're key for victory. Converse, you got to jump out early. Establish yourself as the dominant team, and then you just want to go for big plays, I think. Don't let Olympic hang around and get that confidence, because then you're going to have a really, really tough battle on your hands. So good luck to both teams in that one. Another big game this week. We got Providence going on the road to take on Hough. Both of these teams coming off victories last week. Providence defeating East Meck at home, and Hough defeating Harding at home. This was a great game last year where Providence was able to come back late and get the win. So key for Providence here is, don't feel like, you can just come in and do what you did last year. You got to get off to a real good start. Be smart with the football. Don't have turnovers, and don't succumb to a tough environment, because Hough will come out strong from the students and everyone else. It'll be a nice crowd there on Friday night. For Hough, I think, you've got revenge. You got that as a great motivator. And that was a tough loss to Providence last year. And I think those feelings are not going to be forgotten. And you have to play with that emotion and play together and go out and continue to prove to people that in the Charlotte Observer they were ranked number 1. And I think they're going to have to keep that chip on their shoulder and prove to everyone that they are the number 1 team in the area in the eyes of the Observer panel. All right, our next matchup, and this is pretty cool. We got Rocky River going on the road to take on Berry. And this game's being played at Waddell. For those of you that may not know, Waddell used to be a high school here in Charlotte a few years back, and it's going to come back in the next couple years. But that's a whole nother conversation. But Waddell is one of the best places to watch a football game. It's off of Nations Ford Road. When the sun is setting behind that stadium and it's down in a valley, it is really cool to see. So I'm glad to see they're playing games here, and I know why they're doing it. Barry's getting a new field, so they can't play there this year. But let's look at this matchup on the field. So you got Rocky River coming off a home victory over South Iredale last week. And the offense did put up 26 points, which is a good sign. So your key here is you want to keep that offensive consistency and confidence going. Like I've said, I think Rocky River can be one of the top defensive teams in the area. As long as their offense comes along with them, they can be a tough out. For Berry, this is week 1 for Berry. Berry had a bye last week. Coach Andrew Howard is back once again as the head coach. David Hernandez at quarterback is a really, really good talent. If you probably haven't seen him play because he's at Berry, but I'm going to tell you right now, he can throw it with the best of them in the city. Their key, obviously, is you want to get that offense going behind him. Make sure you keep them protected and give them time to throw the football down the field. Should be a good one over there at Waddell. All right, our next matchup, we got South Meck going on the road to take on Charlotte Catholic. South Meck last week had a tough loss at home to Marvin Ridge. Um, they put up 9 points, so your key to victory here is you want to find a way to generate a little more offense. I know they're still kind of young at the quarterback position. He's got a sophomore, but he did play as a freshman last year. You just got to establish some type of consistency, whether it's your running game or if you want to kind of air it out a little bit. Whatever you do, make sure you execute it well and get the job done. Conversely, for Catholic, it's pretty obvious. They got shut out against Charlotte Christian last week. Christian is a tough team, but I think most people expected Charlotte Catholic to win that one, especially with the preseason hype that they got and everything. They want to establish some offensive rhythm, and it will come. They're too talented, they're too good, they're too well coached for that to continue to happen. So I expect them to come out and really get that offense going and get back on track after a tough loss last week. All right, our next game we've got Vance going on the road to take on Monroe. Vance last week won over West Meck at a game we attended, 21-14. Their key to victory. They just got to eliminate as Coach Brand put it, the mental mistakes, the penalties, and turnovers and things of that nature. Overall, they did what they had to do to get the win, but Vance has always been a team that we say gets better as the year goes on. I expect that week one stuff to kind of be past them. They're going to have a much more refined performance this week. Now they're going on the road to take on Monroe. Monroe's a nice game, a nice place to watch a game too. And they're well coached by a longtime head coach, Johnny Soule. Really storied program. Won a lot of championships in the 1A and 2A ranks. Now they're up in the 3A ranks. And the thing with Monroe, we always used to say, is they have great athletes, and they still do. The thing is, now in this matchup, playing Vance, those athletes are matched up against athletes, so it comes down to execution. So if Monroe's going to win, they're going to have to execute their offense well, not turn the ball over, and make sure they keep Vance contained, because Vance has an ability with big plays, not only in the running game, but in the passing game. So they've got to eliminate those if they want to pull off this win at home. All right, our last matchup we're going to look at is we've got the West Meck Hawks going on the road to take on the West Charlotte Lions. This is part of the West Side Championship Series. And Dale Ross, our owner with Carolina Varsity, has said he is going to award some type of prize to the West Side champion this year. I don't know if it's going to be a trophy or what, but these two teams are going to battle it out in the first matchup for the Battle of the West Side in Charlotte. All right, so for West Meck, I think their key to victory is getting those guys back that they had out. So they had about 7 guys, or 7 starters, I should say, that were out against Vance last week. And Coach Davis has said 3 of those guys should be back this week. And then by conference play, they'll be at full strength. And I'm tell you right now, they got some things going on over there that once they get at full strength, they're going to be really tough to stop. But their key to victory against West Charlotte is they've got to be able to stop the run and get West Charlotte into third and long situations. West Charlotte is really good when they stay on schedule on offense. But if you get them behind the chains, it's not where they want to be. It's not really where any team really wants to be, but especially for West Charlotte and what they like to do. Conversely, for West Charlotte, they're coming off a win over Garinger last week. Their key to victory against West Meck, they can't give up big plays. It's pretty simple. Preston Brown and Chaufrey Brown and all those guys at West Meck, when they get going and get to throwing the football, they can make some things happen. So you want to make sure that they don't give up any plays where the ball gets over their head or someone can break long, on the outside. All right, so those are our game previews for week 2. Hope you enjoyed those. Hope those help get you ready a little bit for Friday night. Trying a little different format this week. Let us know how it goes, if you like it or if you like the live show better. We're just trying to, try to see what's best for everybody here. So everybody be safe Friday night. Once again, myself and Brandon Black will be at Hopewell at Independence. If you see us, please say hello. We'll detail where everyone else is going to be here in a separate video. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.